Something unusual is happening in global trade, and almost no one has noticed it. Saudi Arabia, one of the world's wealthiest and fastest transforming nations, is quietly rewiring its supply chains. The shift is subtle but profound, and it isn't moving toward the usual suspects. It isn't deepening reliance on China. It isn't returning fully to the United States. Instead, it is moving toward an unexpected partner, Canada. This is not about oil or arms or traditional defense deals. It is about technology, industry, aviation, pharmaceuticals, machinery, agriculture, and the unseen systems that power the modern Middle Eastern economy. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, one of the most ambitious modernization programs on the planet, requires stable, high-tech partners capable of delivering quality, innovation, and consistency over decades. And Canada has quietly become one of those partners. Behind the headlines and beyond the diplomatic statements, a new supply chain corridor is forming from the Arctic to the Gulf. Welcome to GEOCAPITALIST. Today we explore why Canada and Saudi Arabia's high-tech supply chain shift changes everything, and how this evolving partnership is reshaping industries from aerospace to healthcare across one of the most important economic regions on Earth. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the global story behind Canada's next major alliance. Saudi Arabia is undergoing the largest economic transformation in its modern history. Vision 2030, championed by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is designed to shift the kingdom away from oil reliance and toward a diversified future built on advanced manufacturing, world-class healthcare, global logistics, and cutting-edge technology. But transformation at this scale requires one crucial ingredient: reliable, politically stable, technologically advanced partners capable of delivering consistent quality. For Saudi Arabia, the challenge is that most major suppliers come with risk. China delivers quickly, but raises concerns over technology exposure. The United States remains powerful but politically unpredictable. European suppliers are high quality but slow. Regional partners face their own instability. Canada, however, offers something rare: a combination of stability, innovation, predictable regulations, and long-term durability. It is precisely the kind of partner Saudi Arabia needs for a 20-year modernization plan. Canada's industries in pharmaceuticals, aerospace, industrial machinery, and agriculture match exactly what Saudi Arabia is now importing in higher volumes. This is why Canadian ministers have increased their engagement in Riyadh and why Saudi counterparts have expanded interest in Canadian suppliers. The kingdom isn't turning to Canada by accident. It is turning to Canada because reliability has become a strategic commodity, one that Canada can provide better than almost anyone. When people imagine Canada-Saudi trade, they picture wheat or oil. But the real story lies in the high-tech products now flowing through ports, airports, and industrial corridors. Saudi Arabia is rapidly modernizing its healthcare system, and Canadian pharmaceuticals, medical research products, and hospital-grade medicaments have become essential inputs. These exports are high-value, tightly regulated, and trusted. Exactly the type of products the kingdom needs as it modernizes hundreds of hospitals and clinics. At the same time, Saudi Arabia is building new airlines, expanding airports, and creating aviation hubs that aim to rival Dubai. Canada's aerospace expertise, from avionics components to advanced flight simulators, is now integrated into these initiatives. Companies like CAE, based in Montreal, already play a key role training pilots across the Middle East. Industrial machinery is another silent powerhouse. From excavation equipment to precision tools and robotics-ready machinery, Canadian industrial exports are supporting Saudi Arabia's massive construction zones, industrial cities, and logistics corridors. Even agriculture plays a strategic role. Canadian beef, durum wheat, and ground nuts support Saudi Arabia's food security strategy, especially as global supply chains grow more volatile. The result is a multi-sector export relationship that is deeper and more technologically advanced than most observers realize. This is not small-scale trade. It is the infrastructure of a new regional economy being built in real time. Calling this simply a trade increase would be misleading. It is a deliberate supply chain shift, driven by Saudi Arabia's effort to reduce vulnerability in a world where shocks have become normal. The kingdom learned during the pandemic, the global shipping crisis, and geopolitical tensions that relying on a limited number of suppliers is dangerous. China, once the default partner for rapid delivery, now presents risks ranging from political tensions to technology transfer concerns. U.S. suppliers remain strong, but often reflect the mood of Congress, which can introduce unpredictability into long-term relationships. Europe remains sophisticated but moves slowly and often ties industrial cooperation to political conditions. Canada, by contrast, sits at the intersection of quality, neutrality, and predictability. It doesn't dominate headlines, it doesn't politicize exports, it doesn't impose technology risks, and it doesn't introduce diplomatic volatility into commercial partnerships. For Saudi Arabia, Canada has become a strategic insurance policy, a supplier whose consistency is more valuable than the cheapest price or the fastest delivery. The supply chain shift is not dramatic, but it is decisive. It is the type of quiet realignment that builds resilience into an economy that is investing trillions into its future. And for a nation redesigning its industrial and technological architecture, that matters more than any single contract. To understand why Canada fits into Saudi Arabia's future, you have to understand Vision 2030. This is not just an economic plan. It is a national reinvention. Vision 2030 aims to transform Saudi Arabia into a diversified global hub for logistics, tourism, healthcare, aerospace, industrial manufacturing, and digital technology. To achieve this, the kingdom needs consistent partners who can deliver high-tech goods across several pillars. Healthcare modernization is one of them. Saudi Arabia is building new hospitals, expanding medical training centers, and developing biotech clusters, all of which rely on the pharmaceutical and research products Canada produces with international credibility. Aviation is another pillar. Saudi Arabia wants Riyadh and Jeddah to become major air transit hubs, which requires pilots, simulators, avionics systems, and aerospace components, areas where Canada already supplies NATO-grade technologies. Industrial and manufacturing zones, such as NEOM and the Red Sea Corridor, rely on precision machinery, robotics-compatible equipment, and advanced tools produced by Canadian manufacturers. And then there is food security. Saudi Arabia imports most of its food. Canadian wheat, beef, and groundnuts provide the kingdom with stable supply channels, insulated from the disruptions affecting other trading partners. Vision 2030 demands long-term consistency. That is why Canada is emerging as a quietly essential partner. In a region where partnerships often come with political complications, Canada holds a unique advantage. It has no imperial history in the Middle East. It does not use economic leverage to influence internal politics. It does not approach the region through a military lens, and it does not attach hidden conditions to its trade. This neutrality, combined with Canada's reputation for high-quality production and transparent regulations, makes its exports particularly attractive to Saudi Arabia. The kingdom can import Canadian pharmaceuticals without worrying about geopolitical strings. It can adopt Canadian industrial machinery without being drawn into political blocs. It can incorporate Canadian aerospace systems into its airports without raising concerns about technology exposure or data risks. Canada's quiet diplomacy and restrained geopolitical posture are not weaknesses. They are strategic assets. In a turbulent region, being predictable is a form of power, and Saudi Arabia values suppliers who are predictable above all else. This explains why Canada's share of Saudi Arabia's high-tech imports is rising quietly but consistently. It is a partnership built not on ideology but on stability. The most transformative part of this shift lies in aerospace and industrial machinery, two sectors that define modern economies. As Saudi Arabia expands its aviation infrastructure, it needs certified components, high-end simulators, accurate avionics systems, and reliable training networks. Canada is one of the few nations capable of producing these at scale and to NATO standards. When Canadian systems are installed in Saudi airports or training centers, they create multi-decade dependencies. Every update, service cycle, or software revision cements the partnership further. Industrial machinery works the same way. Saudi Arabia's industrial zones rely on advanced tools, robotics supporting equipment, and specialized machines designed to precision standards. Once those systems are integrated into production lines, switching suppliers becomes costly and impractical. This is where the true meaning of supply chain shift becomes clear. Canada is not just exporting goods, it is embedding itself into the long-term technological infrastructure of Saudi Arabia. These are not short contracts. They are 20-year system-level partnerships that bind industries together, and they elevate Canada from a supplier of commodities into a provider of essential industrial capacity. This shift is not a one-sided advantage for Saudi Arabia. Canada gains powerful long-term benefits. The first is access to a rapidly expanding market. Saudi Arabia is investing over $1 trillion into infrastructure, aviation, healthcare, and manufacturing. Canada's high-tech industries have a rare opportunity to become integral suppliers to this transformation. The second benefit is diversification. Canada has long depended on the United States for the majority of its exports. Expanding into the Middle East reduces vulnerability to U.S. market shifts or political cycles. Third, Saudi Arabia is building the largest logistics hub in the region. Canadian companies integrated into this system gain access to African, Gulf, and South Asian markets. Fourth, this partnership enhances Canada's international reputation. Supplying high-end machinery, aerospace systems, and pharmaceuticals to the Middle East positions Canada as a technological nation, not just an agricultural and resource exporter. And finally, Canada gains strategic leverage. A more diversified export mix gives the country flexibility in negotiations and resilience against global shocks. In the long run, this quiet supply chain shift increases Canada's global footprint. Yet the benefits extend even deeper. As Saudi Arabia restructures its industrial base, it is embedding long-term demand for certified, high-quality systems that Canadian companies specialize in. Once Canadian aviation simulators, pharmaceutical technologies, or industrial machines are installed, they generate decades of follow-up business through maintenance, upgrades, and lifecycle extensions. This transforms ordinary exports into recurring economic relationships. It also strengthens Canada's innovation ecosystem. Increased demand from Gulf clients encourages Canadian firms to invest in R&D, create new technologies, and scale production capacities. Such growth reverberates across Montreal's aerospace cluster, Toronto's pharmaceutical sector, and Western Canada's agri-tech companies, creating jobs and expanding expertise at home. There is also a cultural dimension. As people, companies, and institutions move goods and ideas between the Arctic and the Gulf, new collaborations emerge in education, training, and technology. Canadian universities deepen partnerships with Saudi research institutes, and Canadian engineers and medical professionals gain experience inside one of the most transformative economies on the planet. In the long term, the shift strengthens Canada's role as a high-tech middle power, one that is not defined solely by its relationship with the United States, but by its ability to plug into global megaprojects wherever strategic opportunities arise. When you step back, this story becomes even more fascinating. Canada is strengthening its Arctic strategy, modernizing northern shipping routes, and building infrastructure around climate-resilient trade. Saudi Arabia is building a southern logistics empire aimed at connecting East Africa, South Asia, and Europe. These two strategies are not competing. They are complementary. A north-south economic corridor is forming, linking Arctic routes to Gulf distribution hubs. Canadian aviation systems, pharmaceuticals, machinery, and agricultural goods flow south. Saudi financial capital, logistics infrastructure, and energy partnerships move north. The result is a quiet but powerful corridor connecting two regions rarely spoken of together. This is the real shift. It represents a new model of global trade, one that prioritizes reliability over dominance, stability over speed, and technology over politics. And Canada is emerging as a central player in this new landscape. But the implications go beyond economics. The Arctic is opening faster than expected as climate patterns shift, creating new maritime routes that shorten travel times between North America, Europe, and Asia. Canada's northern ports and monitoring systems are becoming gateways to the future of shipping. At the same time, Saudi Arabia is building some of the world's most sophisticated logistics zones, with ports, airports, rail networks, and digital trade corridors engineered for 21st century supply chains. When combined, these two transformations create a continuous trade spine stretching from polar latitudes to desert megacities. It is a corridor shaped not by ideology, but by necessity, where countries seeking stability and technological reliability find common ground. And it positions Canada to influence global trade flow at both ends of the route. The Arctic Gulf connection also reshapes geopolitical narratives. Instead of aligning exclusively with the United States or Europe, Canada becomes a hub that connects northern innovation with southern ambition. This gives Ottawa new diplomatic weight, new commercial leverage, and a broader role within global institutions managing trade, climate security, and technological standards. In this emerging world, Canada is not simply exporting products. It is exporting certainty, credibility, and long-term partnership. That is why the Arctic Gulf Economic Corridor is more than a logistical pathway. It is a strategic blueprint for the next era of global trade, and Canada is quietly standing at its center. If you found value in today's analysis, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to GeoCapitalist, where we decode how nations build wealth, power, and strategic influence in an increasingly complex world. Let us know in the comments whether you think this growing Canada-Saudi supply chain partnership is temporary or the beginning of a long-term strategic alignment. Your insights help shape the next episode. Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead with GeoCapitalist. See you in the next one.